Hey guys, I hope you're all having a great day so far. Today I have my second to last project pan update of the year. I cannot believe this year is almost over. This is always the time of year where I start to feel really just excited and motivated to use up and hit pan on as many products as I can before the end of the year. I just want to be able to have a really exciting project pan finale for you guys, and I know I was in a bit of a slump with panning sort of halfway through the year, and I think just changing my approach to panning and focusing on products that I actually really like using has really helped. Also, I am planning on, at the end of the year, ending my project like a couple weeks before the year is over, and then taking like a solid 2 weeks off from panning altogether, just to use whatever I want in my collection. Then from there, I'll decide what products I want to focus on in my 2023 project pan. So thinking ahead a little bit, that is the plan for, the end of the year and beginning of next year. But right now, I am trying to make some good progress on these 7 products that I'm currently working on. And I actually have 2 new pans that I hit this month, so I'm really excited to share those with you. And one of those products I'm actually going to be rolling out and rolling something new in. Just want to start working on something else. So I do first want to share, I know in last month's update I rolled out 2 products that were like this close to being done. I had like probably just 1 to 2 uses left in both of these, and so I wanted to come back and show you like the actually empty products, even though I did already roll these out a month ago. But first, the Ilia Skin Tint. This is completely empty. I ended up taking out the stopper, because there was a stopper in here, just to make sure that I got everything out, and that is done, so that is very exciting. And then the e.l.f. Sheer Tint Finishing Powder, this is also done. I mean, there's a teeny bit left in the side, but I decided to just call it done because I felt like it was starting to smell weird, so that was my sign to just go ahead and call it done. So I did want to give you just the satisfaction of seeing those 2 completely empty products. And let's go ahead and hop into the products that I was working on in October. So I did roll in a foundation. This is the Urban Decay Hydromaniac foundation, and I used this a lot. I would say I used this probably like 75% of the times that I wore foundation. This was the one I was reaching for. And I did draw another tally mark. So this is where we were last month. This is where we are now, at least from what I can tell. It's always hard to tell exactly how much is left in a squeeze tube like this, and I said last month as well, I feel like there's some air in here, but I have squeezed as much air out as I can, and this is what it looks like. So, it doesn't look like there's a whole lot left in there. I don't think this will be done by the end of the year, but I just wanted to get like a little bit of a head start on it, and then I'm probably just going to keep this in my project at the start of next year and just go ahead and finish it off then. And I think this is going to be a good foundation to keep working on throughout the rest of fall and winter, because it is a very hydrating, dewy formula, which is always a good thing in the winter when my skin is dry. So yeah, and that is what I have on today as well. I'm wearing pretty much all of these products today in some capacity, except for my lip gloss. So next we have this concealer. This is the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. It is still almost gone. I've said that for the past like 4 months, it feels like. So yeah, it's still here. I don't use this every single day because I like to rotate between my concealers, but I do feel like I use it a lot, and there's just still, I feel like there's the same amount in there as there was in my last update, which I know there can't be because I have used it a lot. I am determined to finish this by the end of the year. Even better would be by my next update at the beginning of December, because I'm just kind of tired of seeing this. I'm tired of seeing like a 90% empty concealer in my drawer. Like, I just want to finish it. I do really like this concealer, so, I don't mind using it, but it's getting kind of ridiculous that it's taking so long. And a few of you guys told me in my last update that you had the same experience with it. Like, you felt like you would see lots of progress at first, but then once you got towards the end, it like wouldn't move for months, and that is what I'm experiencing now. So yeah, this is like the Mary Poppins bag of concealer, apparently. Last month, I rolled in my Kosas Cloud Set Powder to replace the e.l.f. Sheer Tint Powder, and I feel like I've made a lot of progress on this. I'll be curious to compare the photos from last month, but it has gotten a lot flatter. I do remember last month it was still pretty domed, and this is a baked powder, so at first it was like really rounded, and it started to really flatten out. I have been using this pretty much as my only powder to set my under eyes and my face. I also use it to, set my eyelid primer. I'll use it to blend out or like blur out blush if I went too hard on blush. So this has been like my main go-to powder. It's been just living in my everyday makeup drawer, and I would really like to have this be the next powder that I finish. I bought this last Black Friday and it has an 18-month shelf life, which means that it should be good, if the shelf life is correct, until May of 2023. So that is like kind of the end goal that I have in mind, is just to finish it by then. So this is another one that I don't think will be done by the end of this year, just because I just rolled it in. But I am happy to be seeing some good progress on it. All right, I want to know how many of you guessed that I hit pan on my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Bronzer in Fair this month. I had a feeling this would happen, because in my last update I asked those of you who had hit pan on this powder like about how long it took you, how deep the pan is, that kind of thing, and quite a few of you said you hit the pan surprisingly quickly. And I had a pretty big dip going in this bronzer for a couple of months, so I just had a feeling that October would be the month for me to finally hit pan on this, and I did, as you can see. I've actually expanded the pan a lot as well, so I do think, I guess I could have taken, I don't know why I didn't think to do this, but I could have just popped the pan out to see how deep it was. Let me do that now, actually. Never actually taken this out before. Ooh. All right, there it is. So yeah, this is a very wide pan, but it's really not that deep. So if any of you were also wondering how deep the pan is, there you go. So I'm really happy to have hit pan on this bronzer. I've had it in my collection for almost a year now, so I don't want to like rush through it or anything. I'm not in a rush to finish this product, so I have decided, because I hit pan, which was kind of the goal I had in mind, not to use it up but just to hit pan on it, I've decided to roll this out of the project now, because I feel like I've made some good progress on it and I'm just ready to work on something else now that I've hit pan on it. So I will be taking this out of the project for now. I'll probably reintroduce it into next year's project pan at some point to start making some more progress on it, but for now I do want to roll something new in, and I'll share what that is at the end of this video. Next up is a product that I do want to finish by the end of this year. This is the Revolution Fix and Glow Setting Spray, and I've just been making good steady progress on this every month. This is my go-to everyday setting spray. It sets my makeup, but it also gives it this really beautiful glow and just meshes all my makeup together, takes away the look of powderiness. It just makes everything look a little bit better when I apply it, so I love it. I've been having no problem reaching for it. I haven't been drawing tally marks. I kind of stopped doing that on most products because I feel like the picture just shows you, what you need to see. And currently, because I did just use this like a little while ago, there's still a layer of bubbles on it, so I'm gonna, the same thing happened last month, so I'm gonna wait for those bubbles to dissolve and then I will take my progress photo, but I am somewhere in this ballpark right now. So I am thinking, I will have to make an effort to have this finished by the end of 2022, but I think it's very doable, seeing how much progress I've already made in previous months. I think at this rate, as long as I keep using it, I do think I will have this done by my finale. All right, so then we have my Pan That palette, my ABH Norvina palette. And this is the other product where I hit a new pan. I'm so excited. I finally hit pan in the shade Love. This is the shade that I've been focusing on since like August, and it has taken me until now to finally hit pan on it. So that is the second matte shade in here that I've hit pan on. These mattes do take a while for me to hit pan on, especially compared to the shimmers. The shimmers are very easy, the mattes are a little more challenging, but I actually just hit pan on this shade yesterday, so perfect timing to hit pan right before this update. But I actually hit pan in my members and patrons exclusive video for October, where I did a full phase 1 palette challenge with this, where I tried to use this palette for every step of my makeup routine except for, foundation and concealer, but everything else, bronzer, blush, highlight, brows, even lips, I used this palette and I had a ton of fun, and it was in that video that I hit pan on Love. So that was very exciting. If you do want to join, my members get an exclusive bonus video every month, as well as early access to my Project Pan updates, and I would love to have you over there, so that's linked below. So with that new pan, I have now hit pan on more than half of the shadows in here. At the beginning of the year, I said my goal was to hit pan on every shade in this palette. By the end of the year, I don't think that is going to happen, just realistically. Some of these shades, that would be a long shot. I had also said in October my 2 focus shades. I like to pick 1 or 2 shades that I'm like trying to actively work on per month. So last month my focus shades were Love and Passion, just because Passion is a beautiful fall tone. And I had like hardly any dip in Passion at the beginning of October, and I do now have a small dip in there, so that's nice. I don't think I'm going to hit pan on Passion by the end of the year, but I certainly will continue working on it. Two shades that I know I can hit pan on by the end of the year would be Incense and Volatile. So those are going to be my two focus shades for November, two, great neutral shadows. Incense I do have in my crease today, but most of what I'm wearing on my eyes, in case you were wondering, is the Estate Mystic Forest palette, which is the palette that's in my everyday makeup drawer for this rotation. But I do try to tie in at least like one shade from this palette whenever I'm doing my makeup, since there are a lot of great staple shades in here. I already have pretty good dips in both Incense and Volatile, especially Volatile because I was working on this earlier this year. So I'm actually thinking I will probably hit pan on Volatile first if I had to guess between those two. So those are going to be my next two focus shades, and I think that I can at least hit pan on those by the end of the year, and if I do, then I will have hit pan on 10 out of the 14 shades. And I think that is pretty darn good. That's probably the highest percentage of pans within a palette that I've ever hit pan on. So surprisingly enough, I also have a pretty good dip going in Drama now. So who knows, maybe I could hit pan on that one too by the end of the year. It's funny because at the beginning of the year, I'd said if there's one shade I don't hit pan on, it's probably Drama because it's my least favorite shade. But now I think that has changed because I would say Eccentric right here, this like really orangey color, that is the one that has the least progress on it now. I mean, that shade looks like barely used. I do think that's my least used shade in this palette these days because, I don't know, I just tend to go for a more like rosy look when I use this palette, and I don't often go for like such a warm crease color, but I will definitely try to make a point to use that shade at least a few times in November. But that is how that's going, and I'm really happy to finally have hit pan in Love. That feels good. Last product before we get to my new roll-in. This is the Bite Yaysayer Gloss in Sugar Drizzle, and I am very much on track to finish this by the finale. Last update, I was like somewhere right between the I and the B here, and I had said that my goal was to get all the way down past the B by this update, and here is where we are. So you can see I'm not all the way through the B yet, but I am just about there. I call that close enough. I realized that it really helps me to keep this on top of my desk rather than inside my everyday makeup drawer, because that way I'm reminded to just put it on throughout the day. I almost treat it like a lip balm or something. Just whenever I feel like I need something on my lips, this is what I put on. So sometimes it's really just a matter of switching up where you're keeping your items stored, because I noticed that now that I keep it kind of in sight, I actually remember to use it more often, making more progress on it. And I think that as long as I continue using it at this rate, it will be done by my finale, which I think is good. I don't want to bring this like almost empty lip gloss with me into the new year. I'm kind of getting to that point in the year where I'm like, okay, these are the things that I like don't want to bring with me into 2023, and this is one of those things. So those are the 7 items that I've been working on in October, and like I said, because I am rolling out my Charlotte Tilbury bronzer, I have decided to roll in a highlighter, and this is, you might recognize this little guy, this is the Becca Champagne Pop Mini Highlighter. This was in my project pan last year, and I had hit a pretty good sized pan in it. I repressed it, and so this is what it looks like now. As you can see, I do have a tiny bit of pan right here. This has been in my everyday makeup drawer for the past couple of weeks, and I've just been enjoying it so much that I decided I want to keep working on it until it is done. I don't think that this can be finished by the end of the year. I mean, we're getting to that point of the year where, we gotta be realistic, right? We've only got 2 months left. But I do just want to start working on this. I've had it in my collection for a long time, like I think since 2019, so I think this is the next highlighter that I would like to finish. And it's been a while since I finished a full highlighter. Actually, that's not true. I did finish my mini Champagne Pop liquid earlier this year, and I actually bought that one at the same time that I bought this in a little set that came with like both minis long ago, back when Becca was still a brand. So I feel like it just makes sense to start working on this again. I especially love a golden toned highlighter this time of year. I feel like it's really pretty in the fall and into the holidays. So I think this will be really fun. I can also experiment with using this as an eyeshadow just to see a little bit more progress in it. I really don't see much progress on this day to day, even if I use it every day. when I wear it as a highlighter, I always use like a really fluffy highlighter brush, and this type of brush, because it's not super dense, it just picks up a really like small amount. And this brush is also just about the same size as the pan itself, so I feel like I pick up a really even layer each time. So I'm thinking it's going to be one of those situations where like we don't really see much progress for a while, and then all of a sudden it's going to be like practically gone, because like you can't really tell on camera, but it is such a thin layer in there. So yeah, let's roll that in and just see how much progress I can make before the end of the year. So lots of good progress this month, some exciting updates, 2 new pans, always feels good. So I do think that by the end of the year, I will have these 3 things done: my Revolution setting spray, my Bite Gloss, and my e.l.f. concealer. Those are the 3 out of all of these that I think can realistically be finished by my finale. Now it's gonna take some work and some effort to get these done, especially this e.l.f. concealer. I'm gonna have to really make a point to use this. I might even try using this as a foundation, or maybe I'll mix it like with a moisturizer. I'm gonna try to find some new ways to use this and multi-purpose this in November so that I can see some more progress, and who knows, maybe this will be done by my next update. That would be amazing. And if you're looking for some tips for repurposing your makeup, I have a whole playlist where I've gone through almost every category of makeup now. My most recent one was eyeliners and mascaras. I've also done lip products, concealers, blushes, highlighters. I've shared a bunch of ways that you can multitask those products and get more use out of them, find new ways to use them. So I'll leave that playlist link below if you want some more kind of project pan related tips. But thank you so much for joining me for this update. I hope you had fun. If you did, be sure to give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you have not already. I'd love to see you again soon. And hopefully I will talk to you in my next video. Bye.